and welcome to the Everyday Theology Podcast. This is our series, Everyday Wisdom, and joining me today is Scott Workman. Hello, Scott.
Hello, John.
Today we're going to be covering Proverbs 8, 27 to 31, and we're going to be talking about God's wisdom in creation. And if you want to have a little more on this topic, we're going to kind of go a different route than a previous episode, but Sean and I had a really good discussion about God's wisdom in creation in episode 20. This is now episode 52, so it's been a little bit.
It's been like a month ago.
Yeah, something like that. But let's get into the text, and then we'll break it down. We'll break it down. You gonna break it down? We're not gonna dance.
Nope.
We don't do that on this podcast.
I hurt myself.
Yeah. Proverbs 8, 27 to 31. When he established the heavens, I was there. So I is wisdom. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he marked out a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above, when the springs of the deep became strong, when he set for the sea its boundary, so that the water would not pass over his command, when he marked out the foundations of the earth. Then I was beside him as a master workman, and I was a daily delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the world, his earth. My delight is in the sons of men. And so to begin our discussion, really wanted to just talk about intelligent design, that God, he's established the heavens in wisdom. He's marked out the circle. The springs of the deep became strong. There's all these aspects of creation that point to a creator. And I love learning about this stuff. But the first thing I want to point out is just the fine-tuning of the universe. Points to God's wisdom in creation, that he knew what he was doing. Because what fine-tuning means is that life as we know it could not exist if the constants of nature, such as the electron charge or the gravitational constant, if it had even been slightly different, there would be no life. The universe must be tuned specifically for life. What is something else that points to a creator and God's wisdom?
I think specifically thinking about life, you can look at DNA even. We think of how DNA. We have this double-stranded helix, and we think that everything's so simple. But when you start looking at it under like an electron microscope, and you see all the structures and how everything works, and then you see all the enzymes that work in DNA, and how like ATP synthase, for example, how ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is this primary energy-carrying molecule. It's in all these cells. Wow. And in a lot of organisms, it's generated by a protein-based molecular machine, really, this enzyme called ATP synthase. Yeah. And it's composed of like these rotary motors that are spinning and connected by an axle. Yeah. And it like rotates and it bumps.
Look up videos about this stuff. It's fascinating.
You can find it on there. I've actually got even a book in this room now to think about it, called Darwin's Black Box, which is somewhere over in here probably.
So come in this room and look somewhere over here.
This area over here, right?
Not so much here or here, but right here.
Right here. See what you did there. But
anyway, ATP.
But as it like bumps on the axle, it pushes open these other like protein subunits and provides the energy to generate ATP. David Goodsell, who is a cellular biologist, he said that ATP synthase is one of the wonders of the molecular world. It's fascinating as you dive into it and you look. Yeah. We think that the cells and things like that and bacteria are so simple, and yet when you really look at them, it's so complex.
Yeah. And like this process, if it doesn't work, you're dead.
You're dead. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just something that continues to go. And so, yes, this points to a creator.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this shows us God's wisdom in creation. Another thing is really when you look at planet Earth, its inconsistency with the rest of the universe, which the rest of the universe is not designed for life like Earth is. Not how we explored the vastness of space. No. But there's nothing known that is like this planet.
Yeah, and what we do know though is that our planet, if we were off by a little bit, if our trajectory around the sun were different than it was, it wouldn't be consistent with life. So yes, we haven't, explored the vastness of creation of the universe to see what might be out there in other galaxies or things like that. But we know that where we are right now, if it were somewhat different, then it would not be compatible with life. That it's so fine tuned to what we need.
Exactly. Yeah, amazing. I love verse 29. God set the sea its boundary so that the water would not pass over his command. I think another scientific thing to think about is the moon.
Yeah.
And the tides, and how again, we don't even think about these things, and it just works. God's creation, seasons. And this is what he promised for Noah after the flood, that this would not pass away until the end.
Right.
And then lastly, the last thing we wanted to point out and just talk about is just beauty. I mean, God made everything so beautiful, and he did not have to do that. He didn't have to make this world. I mean, he could just make it functional, but you really see the artistry and design that humans have been trying to emulate in inventions and in art. Like we just look at the beauty of creation and try to mimic that in what we create, which really I think tells you a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a sucker for, sunsets and sunrises, and the beauty of creation just always reminds me, it's made Psalm chapter 19, verse 1, one of my favorite verses, that the heavens are telling of the glory of God and the expanses declaring the work of his hands. Just when we look at creation, you can see all that God has done and is doing there, and just the beauty of the designer, the creator of it all. It's fascinating. Like each sunset's different, and it's just amazing. And
and to bring it back to wisdom says, I was there at the beginning. Let me get back to Proverbs 8, but wisdom is saying, I was there in all of it. And so God knew exactly what he needed to do. And let the complexity of design of the human body, of the animal kingdom, of plants, of the universe fill you with awe at who God is and the amount of knowledge that he has and power that he has. And I love... he says, then I was beside him. So wisdom's beside God, verse 30, as a master workman, and I was a daily delight, rejoicing always before him. So no, that's not necessarily speaking to the days of creation, but that's just what that does make me think of, that God did create all of this and fine tune it.
Yeah, it's
in 6 days.
You think about, if you were to take the evolutionary approach to creation, then really creation is just some sort of chaotic, random miracle that happened by chance. Not that chance is a thing that has any sort of power or anything to do anything. But then when you like we've been talking about, that when you really look at it, you can see how, as the proverb tells us here, that there was wisdom involved. That God used wisdom throughout every step of creation, and how everything was carefully, planned and built by him. And it's incredible to look at.
And even, I think, leading atheists, if you kind of follow the discussion, many leading atheists they can't refute the design. And I've seen some things where it's like, well, maybe we were seeded by aliens. They just can't take the step to go, well, it was in the beginning God.
It's amusing that you mentioned, because we didn't talk about this, but that we mentioned leading atheists, because Richard Dawkins actually, when he defined biology, and I can't remember what his exact definition of started out, but he ended up by saying that it's a study of complex things that have the appearance of being designed. It's like he's an atheist and an evolutionary biologist, but he still can't get away from it. Well, it appears to have been designed.
Yeah.
Of course, then he tries to explain that in other ways, but like, yeah, it looks like it was meant to be that way.
Yeah.
It was designed that way.
Yep. It's amazing. I love having these discussions and watching videos about things. I just be careful because there's a lot of stuff. Like, let's just take National Geographic, for example. There's a lot of great things you can learn about nature, but also know that they're coming at things from a secular worldview. Mm-hmm. So you really have to use discernment to kind of sift through the bad things. But like all of these things can fill us with wonder at our Creator. Like I watched a documentary about bees, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I'm like, I love bees now. Bees are so cool. But really these things, don't let them fill you with awe at nature, but point you to the one who created all things, the one who marked out the foundations of the earth.
Let creation point you to the Creator.
Because creations, and did you catch verse 31? Rejoicing in the world, his earth, my delight is in the sons of men. And so wisdom is even pointing to, is delighting in us for some reason. And we didn't write this down. Do you have any ideas on why you think that is?
I mean, we're part of
put you on the spot.
We're part of creation too. That second part of that verse kind of seems to stand out there, but we're part of creation. We are part of God's wisdom and his design and his plan and his purposes for the universe was also make this inhabitable for us.
Yeah.
So it's
and so we can know him.
We can know him
and
absolutely.
worship him. And so wisdom's delighting in us, which is ultimately our delight in the Creator.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well, this conversation went a little bit different than I thought it would, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And that's all we're out of time. So I think in summary, be filled with awe that God has created all things in his wisdom, and let these things that we can learn today and know about the universe, about the human body, about the earth, just point you to praising God, who created all things and who upholds all things by his power and holds all things together, which Colossians says is Christ. Christ holds all things together. So thank you, Scott.
Thank you, John.
That was fun. And thank you for watching or listening, and we'll see you for the next episode of Everyday Wisdom.